These are the specific preparation tasks I did to the BMW S1000RR to get it ready for the Texas Mile this week. The Texas Mile isn't quite a drag race. It's a one machine at a time on an old runway, and you're not timed. You basically have from 0 to 1 mile to go as fast as you can. This S1000RR started as a 10. It's had an 18 engine and electronics put in it and a ton of other modifications, but these are all the things I did specific for the Texas Mile. I've never tried one before, but I've seen people use them and they look pretty slick, so I bought one of those safety wire tools to try. I have the safety wire pliers and some safety wire that came with it, and I've got a couple spots where I'm going to use this today, getting the bike ready for the Texas Mile. Looks like the oil drain plug still has holes in it from before, so he must have taken that out of the old engine and put it in there for me. So I have to safety tie that to something, and I think what I'm going to do is use the wire and then go up around that link there to tie it all together, because just putting wire through it doesn't do any good. You got to tie it off to something. So there goes the wire through the plug. All right, I've cut that. I'm going to go up the back side of here. First I'm going to wire tie this up a bit, and then I'll move it up through that piece. I'm grabbing both pieces, squeezing the levers together to lock it, moving the chrome slide up, pulling out, releasing. Now taking these two, pulling those up. I'm going to make one go through the eyelet and one around it so that it's a solid tie. Now grabbing again, squeeze, lock, pull and twist, wire tied, that's tied there. Clip the ends, and let's just stick that around in there. Wire goes up and then ties around there. Going back to my spreadsheet, I took my 10 spreadsheet, made a new one, and you can see where I started with like my stock gearing. I took off the 44 sprocket and put on the 45 sprocket, which is the biggest one I have. It would have been stock on an 18 bike, and with my additional rev limit of 14.3 versus 14.2 from the factory, this should get me about 194 theoretical top end. The next one should give me about 199, but I'll have to go all the way to a 43 sprocket before I can actually go over 200. This spreadsheet tells me where the ideal shift point is, and obviously I can't go that high, so these are the ideal shift points where I stay in the maximum power bands. The bigger rear sprocket means I had to move this axle as far forward as it would go. The chain isn't quite to spec. It's a little tighter than I'd like it, but it'll be okay for what I'm going to do. And if I top out at 194, then I'll just go up the next sprocket, which means smaller size, means more axle motion and more play in the chain. I also have to put a safety wire through the axle to protect that nut. Now that it's torqued, I just have to safety wire it. Now it's torqued, safety wired, and the chain will be okay like that, so rear end's good. In the past, since this is a pinch style axle holder up front, these have not had to be wired, so hopefully nothing's changed. I better look at the rule book on that, but hopefully nothing's changed there. And then I also need to figure out something for a kill switch lanyard onto the suit. I'll probably just do like what I did before, just kind of cheat and drill a hole through the bottom of that so that it pulls it out and kills it. Now one of the rules, and this is a tough one, is that you have to be able to have a lanyard attached to your suit, and if you fall off the bike, it has to kill it. Now modern bikes like this have a tip switch, and it will turn off if it falls over, but they say that's not good enough and you got to have this other deal. So there are options like converting this whole housing over to something that works more. And if you're only racing, that makes more sense. I'm still gonna have it for a street bike. So what I do, it's not ideal, but I end up, doing the same thing I did before, is I'm gonna drill a tiny hole in each side of the bottom so that when you pull it, it effectively kills the bike. So again, just gonna drill a tiny hole in each side, as much as I kind of hate to, and then run a wire through it and attach that to my lanyard. Now I've got a straight piece of wire. Need to try to thread through there. Man, I hate this. Now that we've got the hole drilled through, put our wire through, now we're just gonna bring this around and tie it to the lanyard. I'm gonna shove these wires through the actual connector thing that came with the safety lanyard. It's obviously made for a different kind of setup. And this is a little bit crude, but it's gonna work, and that's what counts for something that's not gonna have to be there very often. Putting the lanyard down there. Now these two will snug it down. Pliers in the same way. Tuck that wire tie in there. And now it's running. Turn it on. And the lanyard works. Okay, I bled everything out again. Now I'm going to continue to that too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go ahead and bleed the brakes one last time, and then everything will be good. I went through and adjusted my quick shift, or shift assist, whatever you want to call it, to make sure that was closer to 90 degrees by rotating it a tooth. I did a little bit of an adjustment here to get a little bit more moment arm and a 90 degree, and I moved the peg down a bit to get a better angle of interface between the boot and that. So I need to take this out and test it, but hopefully that makes a little bit smoother than what it was before. They're a great product. They're a great little gadget, but you have to have them adjusted just right to make sure you get the most out of them. I don't want to miss a shift ripping down the Texas Mile and screw up a run. Now that all those parts are lined up, the last step is we want to readapt our quick shifter just to make sure everything's perfect after we've been kind of messing with stuff. All right, service function completed. And now it wants us to basically readapt our gears. subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to learn more about how to enjoy amazing machines like this.